Hello. So my question for you today is, what color are you? So I'm going to be exploring a couple of different ways to look at your color and what it means. Are you black, white, brown, yellow? Are you purple, orange, green, blue? I'm going to help you figure that out in a minute. But first, let's talk about emotions and colors. Our emotions can determine a lot about how we navigate through life, how much we enjoy our life, or how frustrated we feel with our lives. It also can determine how we deal with certain situations. So, how intense are your emotions? Do you feel them very strongly, or are you kind of a calm, even-tempered, level-headed person? Do you think your Myers-Briggs personality type is a determining factor in how emotional you are? I think it plays some role, but when you look at types where there are higher percentages of that type, like the ESFP or the ESTP, you're going to see a variation in those people. I've seen ESFPs who are very emotional, and I've seen others that barely cry. So I'm not sure how big of a factor, or if that's the only determinant of how intensely you feel emotions. So I'm going to show you a color scale that shows emotions. And some people use this as a way to manifest what their destiny is going to be. Like they say, if you're happier, that you're going to manifest all the things that you dream of. Well, I have some reservations about that type of thinking. I think there are other factors that play a role in how far ahead you get in your life. Intelligence can play a factor. Poverty can play a factor. How wealthy were your parents when you were growing up? There are just so many different things. This might be upsetting for some people to hear, but they used to use that phrase all the time, that you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. Well, what if you want to be an NFL player? Making good choices is certainly a huge factor, but sometimes when people are young, they can change the trajectory of their lives by making bad choices. Say for some people, adolescence doesn't end until you're close to 30 years old because your reasoning center has not fully developed. That's why you see people still making bad decisions even in their 20s, staying in a perfect lane of manifesting destiny. There are things that are out of our control, but we can try to manage and understand our emotions better and live a fuller, happier life. So let's take a look at this emotional scale. So check out this emotional scale. So if you look at the top, you have more positive emotions, and as you get closer to the bottom, you have the most negative emotions. So you get more points for having positive emotions and feelings versus the negative feelings that you may have. So at the top, you have joy, abundance, empowerment, happiness, confidence, optimistic, strong hope, dedicated, content, peace, neutral, relaxed. Okay, so that's somewhere in the middle, just being kind of even keel. Now, if you look at the very bottom, you have powerlessness, unworthiness, and shame as a -10. Then above that is stuck, fear, grief, self-loathing. Guilt, insecure, depressed is the next level up. You have hate, rage, jealousy, resentment. The next you have anger, discouraged, worry, boredom, overwhelmed, and anxiety. You have frustrated, impatience, relieved. So all of those emotions can be pretty tense, right? So you have to study those and figure out, where am I today? So it might be a good idea to look at the emotional scale on a daily basis, or check into it once a week and look and see, okay, where am I today? If you are down towards the bottom and not at least somewhere in the middle, then that means that you've got some work to do, because you don't want to stay down in that black or brown area for too long because it can stifle your life. Is your mind cluttered? Are you bitter over some things that haven't worked out for you? Do you feel guilty from past mistakes that you have made? So we wonder why we don't enjoy life, or why we're not passionate about our dreams and the things that we want to happen in our lives. It's because our minds are not clear, and we're marinating and saturating ourselves in those terrible feelings. So I'm talking to the person today who's feeling powerless, and you're feeling fear and guilt. You're feeling rage or resentful. You've got to find that calm place again. You can do it. Feel your shoulders. Are they really tense and tight? Then you need to relax them. Like, is it really tense? Do you need to massage those areas for a few minutes every day to try to relax them? One little trick I use is I try to make sure that I'm comfortable, because I used to be so tense that I would be sitting in a twisted manner, or there might be a pebble in my shoe, and I would keep on working. And so I always try to make sure, okay, am I comfortable? Am I sitting in a position that's relaxed? So check that every now and then. Set small daily goals for yourself. I'm not one of those people that says get over it, or you should just snap out of it very quickly. That's not always the healthiest thing anyway. Sometimes it's better to gradually reduce the stress and the tension, because if it's not true, if it's not your new truth, then it's not going to stay there. It's not going to stick anyway. So you want to try on a few things a little bit at a time. One of the things I do also is I start over each day, because yesterday could have been a mess. Yesterday could have been crazy, but you start over each day. Like, I'm letting that go. I'm not dwelling on it. Yeah, I was irritated and frustrated yesterday, because a lot of times what we do is the things that happened to us yesterday that were really negative, we carry them to the next day. Like, I'm just going to stay mad forever. Free yourself. You don't deserve to feel unhappy today because of yesterday's mistakes. You can choose to let go of the things that you're so angry and frustrated about. You can choose to let it go. You can replace it with hope. What can you hope for your future? Write one thing down and forgive. Forgive yourself for the things or the mistakes that you've made. And also, every time that person pops up in your head that dumped you, or that divorced you, or that said something mean and ugly to you, or mistreated you for a long period of time, every time that person's face pops in your head, say, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. Let that go. Because here's the scary thing. You don't want to attract someone like that in your future, because sometimes the things that we haven't worked through, like let's say you're still dating, relating, and mating, you don't want that person that you can't stand to pop up and be disguised as someone else. Worry keeps you from going higher in your life. If you're offended, it keeps you from new opportunities. If you're constantly thinking about how someone did you wrong, or how offended you are, and why you're so bitter for what they did to you, that person has gone on with their life, and you have allowed them to create power in your life, and that's not fair to yourself. So you have to figure out some creative ways to let it go. It clouds your potential, and as long as you're holding on to it, you're giving those people power. So we only have so much emotional energy that we have to work with each day. So you want to work at an optimal level. So if you see that you're at the bottom of that chart, you want to figure out, how can I get to the top of that chart today? What do I need to implement to make my day better and to find peace? When your house is really cluttered, or a big mess, or your workspace is a big mess, it's harder to find things, it's harder to think clearer, it's hard to get going faster, it gets in the way. And it's the same thing with your mind. When we fill it up with nothing but toxic thoughts and toxic people and negativity, and we tell ourselves bad things every day, all day long, then it clouds how far you can go in your life. Sometimes it becomes an addictive habit. It becomes a blanket that we cover ourselves up with every day. So you want to strengthen yourself by getting rid of some of that clutter that's in your mind so that you can have a peaceful and happier existence and go further. So let's talk about what color resonates with you most. Like when you see certain colors, what mood does it evoke for you? When you wear a certain color, does it change how you act, how you think? So check out the colors that are around you that might be affecting your mood and even your behavior. And also think about the color that you would associate with yourself. Color pink brings forth a hopeful feeling. It's associated with being tranquil and warm, loving. White can be associated with what's pure, the simple, but it can also be cold. So you have to be a little bit careful not to have too much white. That's why sometimes they say add a little bit of color to your walls. Green is associated with what's refreshing, with nature. So if you're having a lot of anxiety or stress in your life, then you want to introduce the color green. When you think of the color blue, what pops into your head? The sky, the ocean, all things peaceful. It's cooling, it's calming. And I always heard that if you're trying to lose weight, eat on a blue plate, like a light blue, and it will calm your appetite. Black is one of those colors that can go either way because it can be associated with stylishness, but it can also be associated with being an energy zapper or depressing color. It's classic. The color red, you think of fire. It's known to raise your energy level, to stimulate conversation. It's bold, it's power, it's love. Yellow, yikes, it can evoke anger, fear, or anxiety. But yet, it can lift the spirit. It can make you feel happier. It can make things seem brighter, raise your self-esteem. So it's a very strong color that we associate it with ourselves. It's one of those colors that can kind of go both ways. Brown tends to give people a sense of security and safety and warmth. It makes people feel supported. It's thought to be a practical color. It can also be sophisticated and elegant. The color orange is associated with enthusiasm and endurance and strength. And the color purple has been associated with royalty, luxury, dignity, extravagance, pride, and independence. So what color would you type yourself? Would you say that SPs are blue and NFs in Myers-Briggs are purple and NTs are red and SJs are brown? I have no idea. You tell me. Well, I'm an ENFJ, and one of the rooms in my home is completely red. I mean, red everything. And I think when I was decorating it, I just wanted to feel intensity. So what colors are the rooms in your home? What colors do you like to wear? And what color would you say your Myers-Briggs type is and why? So comment in the comment section below. So if you'd like to see more videos like this one, hit the like button and remember to subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.